and over the age of 18. Welcome to the Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast, episode 4. And once again, I am joined by my best friend, David, aka Gonzo, as I like to call him, and Angel AOK Gaming. How you guys doing?
Phenomenal. Thanks for having me again, man. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Gonzo, how you doing, bro?
I'm just holding it together. This wonderful weather we're having in the Midwest was 10 degrees yesterday, and now it's in its mid 40s. So, needless to say, my body's adjusting to that.
Yeah, I'm ready for some warm weather over here. All right, but here we go. If you guys don't know, this is the first time joining us. What we talk about here in the SmackDown Wrestling Podcast is a WWE based show for now, where we talk about the week in pro wrestling in the WWE and any type of scandals or anything like that. We like to leave out of here, so please don't flood the comments with McMahon. But yeah, that's what we like to talk about is this week in WWE. And we're going to start off hot as usual, the hottest story in pro wrestling. It's been the hottest story in pro wrestling for years. It's the Bloodline. Bloodline is the most talked about story in the world of pro wrestling, guys. So right now, it looks like we got Hollywood Rock is back, or Angel likes to call him Dwayne Johnson. Let's break down that promo that everyone's obsessing about. Gonzo, you want to take that first?
Yeah, he went retro with that. As far as his gold get up, I mean that's straight vintage 90s rock. And so as far as the promo in itself, it was refreshing for me because it was him actually tapping into a side of him, and he said it in the promo himself. Haven't heard this in a while. And I liked how, again, he was able to phrase some things. And the reality is, whenever I've seen him in the past years, he's been kind of stale to me as far as just doing a lot of just poking around. So there's actually a lot of relevance now to what he has to say. And of course, you have that typical rock presentation, deliverance, but it's actually intriguing to me for once in several years.
Okay, Angel, what did you think of that promo?
Oh man, I guess he's promoted from Dwayne to at least The Rock now. I don't know if he's Rocky yet or anything like that, but no, it was pretty good. Gonzo hit it on the head when he talked about him going vintage. It felt like the original version of himself when he used to just call out the fans or whoever he might be in front of. I thought he was going to say something to Roman a little bit. I felt like he was going to go that way, but he didn't. But it seems like they're together for now. You know, like they have bloodline strong. I like the crybabies. Now that's his official hashtag. It seems like everyone's a crybaby now. It's not just the Cody fans anymore.
I'm just waiting for a shirt. I'm just waiting for a shirt.
It's coming. Yeah, exactly. He came out and now he's got the crybabies. It's him. It's the bloodline versus the crybabies. When he said, "If you smell what the bloodline is cooking," I thought that was pretty legitimate, and it's pushing the story pretty far. I wanted Roman to say a little bit more, but you know, he never says too much as it is anyway, I guess. But
I mean, Roman likes to just come talk shit, and Paul Heyman speaks for him, which honestly, I don't really want to hear Roman that much. I mean, eventually, obviously, if they do face off in some way, I do want to hear them, you know, actually make it personal. But I mean, I've enjoyed the evolution of Roman Reigns' character to now, because I can tell you right now, 5 years ago, I didn't care about Roman Reigns. So,
no, yeah.
You know,
I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more there for him. I think I think I have more faith in what Roman could provide, and I think he's stuck using this crutch because it's worked, and you know, it's what works for his character right now. I wonder if he personally, you know, thinks about this situation and thinks if he can get more out of himself in the future. I wonder if he's like looking to break free from this. We'll see what happens, depending on if he gets to keep the belts and whatnot. But I feel like there's a different future for Roman coming, more than we realize right now. But we'll see.
No, yeah. I mean, my thoughts on the promo, I thought it was good in a sense that it gave me all like the nostalgic feels of him just shit talking, which is always fun. Him and his, you know, catchphrases that we all grew up on and all that stuff. That was great. But at the same time, I feel like his promo kind of like didn't make a lot of sense to me. With him going back and forth and the decision of what Cody did, and now basically targeting Cody, like it's like, dude, the story was he gave you that spot and he took it away from you. But yet now it's like, I'm going after Cody because he's disrespecting my family and this and that. I don't think it just makes sense. I think we all know that it was an obvious, you know, backpedal of what happened. which, like I said, I like the promo overall. I mean, I'm wearing a We the One shirt right now. You know, I'm still acknowledging the bloodline. I like that he's part of the bloodline, but it's like what are we gonna get is I'm trying to figure out like what's the play here now, because they obviously definitely backpedaled on what they were gonna do, and it's like I still feel like they're still trying to figure out, are we gonna get a tag match? Are we gonna get a one-on-one? Is The Rock still gonna fight Roman Reigns? Is this all a facade right now to back up Cody? Like there's so many different things out there where it's just like I really don't know what's gonna go, and I felt like a lot of his promos just didn't make sense because he was just straight up attacking, you know, the Cody crybabies, as Angel loves, as opposed to giving us answers on what's going on. Gonzo, so I got a question. So now that The Rock is an official, you know, member of the bloodline, he acknowledged Roman Reigns, but kind of indirectly, he's just saying I'm in the bloodline, but he said I'm acknowledging Roman Reigns. Am I going too much into that, or with him showing the ones meaning he's just part of it? Like what's going on?
Everything is calculated with The Rock. It's not an accident. If you go back to the presser, he stands on the right-hand side. And ultimately, if you're paying attention as he's engaging Cody, then The Rock is talking with his left hand, allowing the camera to catch everything. And he slaps Cody with his right hand. This is a good, important factor because as he's on SmackDown, he gets his opportunity to talk on the mic. And it's not an accident that all of a sudden he's raising his hand as We the Ones, but he has his thumb out in the form of an L. Now, again, you see the overall screen pan back. Everyone else is throwing up the traditional one, but The Rock does it a little bit differently. A lot of people are saying that this is an accident. Other people are looking a little bit more into it.
Gonzo,
I'm going to say
how did he do it differently? Can you explain that?
he rose it up where his index finger and his thumb were out in the shape of an L, almost like the Smash Mouth hit, the L
Okay.
on your
I
forehead
didn't
type of
notice
thing.
that. Okay.
And again, The Rock is too influential and too knowledgeable when it comes to camera angles in regards to how promotions work, where the cameras are, what they're going to catch and what they're not going to catch. And again, that could be me looking way too much into it. But again, this is arguably one of the greatest figures in wrestling. But then, of course, you throw in the cinema that he's been doing. This, Mark, I don't think you're looking too much into it. I think this is, again, just a seed that potentially was planted. And we'll see essentially where this then goes. Because it's interesting because in the promo, Roman identifies only himself and then also Roman Reigns as being the bloodline, right? It's totally discrediting the wise man, the Uso.
Jimmy.
I mean, he didn't even include them. So you have parts of it that include the bloodline, then you don't. And so all of that, it's not an accident. And I think that was all intentional.
Yeah, I agree. All I know is that the eventual blow off, if we ever get one, between The Rock and Roman Reigns is going to write itself just when it comes to who is the tribal chief, as far as the not even a title aspect, just as who's the leader of the family. So that's going to write itself. It's just like
Head of the table.
Head of the table. It's like how are we going to get there, and where does Cody fall into all this, and what is like the Rock's WrestleMania outlook now? Like, what are we going to get with that?
Oh, sure.
You know.
I mean, probably my last comment, before we transition off, if we're talking about visuals, for those who haven't seen the end of SmackDown, you have the bloodline standing off to the left side of The Rock as he's cutting his promo when he's talking the entire time. They're not behind him. He's not in the center of it. Roman's not standing next to him. And as it pans out, you literally have The Rock, and then you have the bloodline that's off to the left of him. And again, this is all about visuals because, again, if you know where the camera angle is at, what they're going to catch, depending on the angle, you're going to look possibly bigger or smaller, depending as to whatever version of that they're going to be able to cut for people to see. I mean, The Rock already is a towering individual in comparison to other human beings. And so this subliminally can send a message as to a foreshadowing of things to come in the future. Not 100% unified, but still very distant, where you have one group and they're still inviting someone into this now.
Right. Angel, anything you want to add as far as what's going on?
Yeah, there's what Gonzo's saying. I can understand it. There's a lot of little intricate details there that he's bringing up that are very interesting. Seeing how this could build up for even future feuds that you were talking about, the head of the table part. We don't know who the head of the table is now at this point, and that question mark probably comes to to fruition later on. I think it's going to be after WrestleMania. We'll see how this, stacks up with the whole. I've heard people call this like the Bloodline versus the Avengers, like the WWE Avengers with Cody and Seth and whoever else is going to start joining that side. And it's
John
like,
Cena
yeah,
might show up.
you know what I mean? And we're looking at like the Thanos side over here of
Right.
The Rock and Roman. So we're kind of seeing these powerhouses combine. It's interesting. It's almost like this NWO vibe.
That would be really
but
cool
not-
around Survivor Series season, like having
Right,
just
yeah.
the Bloodline versus, the WWE Avengers.
Right. I think they're trying to do it for WrestleMania, which is super interesting but weird at the same time. Like you
Right.
said, Survivor Series would be perfect, right? But the WrestleMania, I don't know. There's been like triple threat matches and stuff like that before, and WrestleMania history. But
So it's interesting that you said they're trying to do it for WrestleMania. So do you still feel like Roman Reigns is going to pull double duty in some way?
what do you mean, like two nights?
Night 1 and night 2, yeah.
No, he's not going to do that. I feel no. I don't know what's going to happen with the night 1. Might just be like all. I don't know what they're going to do. How was it last year? I can't remember.
The Usos main evented night 1 and lost to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed
Titles?
Tag Team Championships. Yeah.
Okay.
And night 2, Roman Reigns. So it was the Bloodline that.
We didn't have
evented
2
both
titles yet,
nights.
did we? Did we have 2 titles?
No, that came after.
Oh, so this is their first year with 2 titles.
Yeah,
Okay.
Seth didn't have his championship yet.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I just see all of it happening the second night. I think the first night's just going to be like women's stuff. Probably Rio, probably headline the first night, maybe.
So does The Rock have a match at WrestleMania? Is
He
it
might be-
totally done now?
No, he's going to have a match. We don't know what's going to happen here, though. I don't know what's going. If I could predict it right now, we've talked about this a little bit.
Mhm.
My prediction that I've said to you guys off our podcast, my prediction right now as of today is it's going to be a 2v2. This is really weird, but this is the only thing I could think of as of right now of how it's set up. It's going to be a tag team match of The Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody, and the winners come out with both titles. I don't even know why that would happen. That's never been done before, I don't think. At least that I've ever seen. It's
I
a
can tell you
really
right now,
weird thing to say.
That's
but
something
that's all I
fresh.
can predict.
It's something fresh that I haven't seen, the internet wrestling community say. I could say that one. I don't know if I agree with it as far as titles
It's
being
far-fetched.
involved.
Don't get me wrong. I get how weird that sounds for sure.
Because then if you do that and then all of a sudden, the Bloodline has all the gold again, it's like the whole internet wrestling community is just going to erupt. I mean, I don't know. But I like it, to be honest. It's something. It's just different. You know how I like the different things. I don't think we'll get. I think maybe we'll get a tag match night 1, but I don't think it involves any type of championships.
Yeah, you could see 2 nights of that. That's my theory. If they're all in one night, that's what I see could happen. That's all.
Yeah, I just feel like The Rock right now. Even though they swerved on what was going on, I feel like The Rock's going to be involved somehow. I just don't know what, and I do think some type of tag match might be it. All right, but lastly, before we move on, so with the addition of The Rock, does Cody have a real chance on ending Roman Reigns, or the Cody Crybabies just getting their match and that's it? What do you guys think? Gonzo, what do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting because ultimately, if we're going to ask the question, does Cody have the opportunity to get back at The Rock? Because if you tap a little bit into Raw, you have Seth Rollins cutting his promo about how if Cody needs a shield, he's dropping the dynamic of what he was and how Seth talks about he created this monster in regards to Roman. It's playing out nicely. Because it's giving you, again, the cinema behind this all. And the story is what I'm actually really intrigued by, at least at this moment in time. So I'm going to say, yeah. From a storytelling perspective, I know we've already identified that they've done some backtracking and they're purposely not bringing up specific comments that have been made so far, hoping with the magnitude and how everything is being presented that it's just going to get washed away. And again, so far, so good.
No, yeah, I agree. All right, so here we go. Since we're talking about Cody's chances, let's break down that promo that David was talking about right now on Monday Night Raw. So Cody comes out on Monday Night Raw, vows to get The Rock back, is gonna slap him in the face like he got slapped in the face, all that good stuff. And then Rollins joins his promo, like he says this is I highlighted this quote because it has so much meaning to me. So I'm gonna read it to you guys real quick. It said, so Rollins said this to Cody Rhodes. All right, it says, This is the last real chance that any of us has to take the title and to take that power and give it back to the people. So that means this is the last chance Cody's gonna get at Roman Reigns. That hit me hard because I'm still on my train of Bruno Sammartino. So it's like, this is the last chance. Is this the last chance, or is Cody's gonna knock it down? Is he gonna be the hero that we all want, guys? What's going on?
I have to agree with Seth. It is the last chance. I mean, it's the last chance for a while. It goes back to the whole promos that Seth brings up. We got a champ that wrestles once a month, shows up twice a month. Doesn't want to do his job, doesn't want to show up for work, whatever you want to call it, and it's becoming less and less. And this whole mantra that the Bloodline's showing, especially with The Rock talking a lot now, we do what we want. It's our show. And like now they've always said that stuff, but you didn't really feel it. It was more like he just got away with it, right? Like when Roman's been doing this for these past few years, but they're just getting away with stuff. You know what I mean? And every heel's always had, like heel finishes, right? Or like interruptions or distractions, whatever. That's all fine and dandy. But now with The Rock pushing what he's been saying, and he's part of TKO, right? The board.
Mm-hmm.
Now it does feel like, no, we do what we want. It's our show. Now it really is our show. Like that with The Rock inserted into this Bloodline group, if they really are teaming up the way they're portraying this as, and Rock isn't gonna, if The Rock's not infiltrating, there's also a theory that I have that The Rock could be infiltrating here. I don't know. We'll see. Because, remember Cody, the one phrase that I won't forget Cody saying, besides, not at WrestleMania, and they had backtracked that, which is whatever, was, I want to take everything from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rock came out.
Mm-hmm.
And now they kind of flipped it back. But it's like, are they doing like a double flip here? Because what if The Rock is infiltrating, going to take control of Bloodline, and it was Cody's plan this whole time?
It could.
And the slap could have been Cody's decision. Like, slap me. I want you all in. You guys are going to be together. And then you're going to take it from him. And I'm going to take that title. And so on and so forth. We'll see. But, yeah, if the Bloodline, if Roman wins this at WrestleMania, and The Rock really is his, in his corner, and they stay together, it's going to be really dark times for the WWE title because, I mean, Roman barely shows up for work as it is, and now that's going to be their show, as The Rock said. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they could do something for SummerSlam and Survivor Series, but I don't know, man. It's going to be tough.
Gonzo?
You got a lot of story. I mean, does it all come crashing at WrestleMania? I could easily see this as no. There's a lot of story to be told here. I know I had said this on our last episode that I could easily see Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania in some type of dynamic, but I do like the idea of how Angel just pitched this. The two of them working in cahoots ultimately to infiltrate and then destroy it from within. And so that is something that I was thinking about the other day, and I just like the way that you phrased that. And so, yeah, I mean, that's another seed that's just planted. So I'm intrigued by it, at least for right now, because a part of me would like to see it go beyond WrestleMania. And then there's the part of me that, of course, would love to see it end at WrestleMania. But then again, there's the fanboy in me that would love to see Roman Reigns hold on to that title for an additional several years to break the all-time days held. Now you also have the Rock star power. You throw it in there with Hollywood Rock. They continued to just evolve the overall bloodline because it was going stale for X amount of times. And I know, Mark, you've talked about that on your other show. When do we cut it off? When do we end it? This, I think, is the shot in the arm. So it's a rejuvenation process. It's an ending process. The inclusion of The Rock is the major star. But again, his job is to put over other people. Can he do that? And I don't even think it's going to have to be Cody or even it's going to be Roman. It possibly could be someone else that we haven't seen just yet, right? So I like how Angel said you've got the Avengers versus the Thanos army. For all of those people out there that love Marvel, I mean, you've got the Black Order versus the Avengers. So, I mean, this is going to be pretty intriguing nonetheless. There's a lot of creativity that's going into this.
It does. So my take is, growing up, we all watched the Attitude Era. We watched, early sign, what was it called, the Ruthless Aggression era, but mainly the Attitude Era. Right, growing up was the McMahon family doing all this crazy stuff, right, in their hands of everything, right. That wrestling family. Angel said last year or last episode we had maybe a new wrestling family that's going to take over, right? Because we had the Corals, we were talking about the McMahons having their hand in for 40 plus years, but now that's seemingly going away. Now is the Rock's family, Roman Reigns' family, is that going to be that new family that's just going to be fed to us? So is it a possibility where, like David just said, it's a shot in the arm? It was getting stale. Now it's not stale. We got The Rock back. It was stale before Sami Zayn got. Then we got Sami Zayn in the bloodline. Then they caught fire again. The Judgment Day was getting stale, and now we got all this stuff with R-Truth, and now it's amazing again. Who's to say that The Rock gave us what we want? The Cody Crybabies got his rematch. And then The Rock's just going to pull a McMahon and be like, we control everything, and Cody Rhodes is not going to be your savior. And you're going to deal with this for another year and maybe longer, because despite how much we hate it, good or bad publicity is publicity that you want, right? And if Roman Reigns retains, you're still going to watch the next day. I'm just saying. So go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, do you feel like this is open-ended right now? Do you feel like they don't have a story written yet, like completed to WrestleMania? It could be written as we go.
I think prior to The Rock finally giving the okay and coming back, like, quote unquote, full time, meaning now that he's on the board, I kind of see him not leaving for a while. I think prior to The Rock, they did have a plan, and I think Cody Rhodes was 100% supposed to win. And now I just feel like with The Rock here, and there's so many different ways that they could play this, I think they are just going along with it. That's why they did backpedal. They were like, okay, we're going to give The Rock and Roman Reigns. And obviously Roman Reigns would have won that match. In my opinion, Roman Reigns would have won that match. And you still get more bloodline. But then you had the Cody Crybabies crying, no. And then all of a sudden, they backpedal. And they're like, okay, never mind. Here comes Cody. I truly believe that they're, number one, partly listening to the fans. And number two, just making this up as go along, because they're going out with what's hot. That's my opinion. Obviously, we don't freaking work there. But I think it's like what's hot, what's going on. The Cody Crybabies are taking over, just like the Yes Movement was there, just like the CM Punk chants take over the show. It's all there hijacking the shows, and it's like we're going to see what we want. And like I said, as a wrestler, you want some type of reaction, right? If and when Cody gets pinned or pins, you're going to get a reaction. You're going to get the cheering, Cody's the savior. But then if Cody gets pinned, that reaction is going to be nuts, and it's going to be an epic reaction. It's not going to necessarily be a negative reaction. It's going to be a holy shit moment that they actually did this, and Roman's still the champion. So who knows? I mean, it's all going. It could go so many ways where I'm actually liking it just because that's what I personally like. I don't like it being totally predictable. Now with the addition of The Rock, I don't know what's going on. That's why we're here debating it. That's why we're like, okay, what's this outlook? What's that? What's this? What's going on? No one knows except The Rock. That's just what it is. But yeah, so unless you guys have any more thing to chime on that, Cody is seemingly, like Angel says, bringing the WWE Avengers. So we got Seth Rollins saying he would be his Shield. Seems that Sami Zayn, it's gonna be involved in some way. Him talking to Sami Zayn throughout the show, giving him good luck, stuff like that. So you could bet your bottom dollar that that Sami Zayn will be involved in Cody somehow. And it also goes to long-term storytelling, just because he was affiliated with the Bloodline, which is another reason why I feel like Jey Uso will be involved. So do you see as though like some type of main event match with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes where all these guys play a factor, where like the Bloodline tries to interfere, and then you got the Codys, maybe even his brother Goldust, aka Dustin Rhodes? Like, what are you guys feeling on that?
There's going to be a payoff here that 1997 Starrcade wasn't able to deliver.
Ooh.
With Sting and Hulk Hogan, right? You had the NWO, and then you had the rest of WCW versus. And so this storyline, as it's being handled and it's continuously being evolved upon, I know one of the greatest things that Eric Bischoff ever talked about here recently has been the dynamic, and he's very honest about this, is that he had said that he never gave a really good send off for the NWO. It just abruptly ended and it got mishandled. This is a storyline where you have a lot of good storylines that are meshing together with people that actually have significant tie-ins. With that being said, yeah, it's literally WWE versus the Bloodline. And it's very reminiscent of that 1997 Starrcade main event with Sting versus Hulk Hogan. So far, I'm very much enjoying everything thus far. Let's see if they can stick the landing.
Angel.
Yeah, I said that earlier, Gonzo, that you hit on now. If it's starting to feel a little NWO like ish vibes, especially with the Bloodline. And now you're finding Cody having to go against it. Seth already broke it down for us. You tried this last year by yourself. It didn't work. You're going to try the same thing again. It's not going to work. You need me and whoever else of the, to recruit. Obviously, Jay is a big, probably. Sammy, probably. You brought up his brother. We'll see what happens with that. That'd be pretty cool. That the family dynamic of it. That's definitely something that I think WWE would love to have, but we'll see if that works out or not. But like Gonzo said, like, is the Bloodline going to be broken up, or what's going to happen with their future if they lose? If we'll see what happens. Really, I can't really give you what I think is going to happen for sure, because there's just so many roads. I've already broken down so many ideas that I've had, or what I think they might be doing. It could go any way, but we definitely are going to see a group with Cody versus the Bloodline, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they break this down in 2 days of WrestleMania. The buildup is going to tell us a lot, but we're really not going to know until they start announcing what's actually going to happen here at WrestleMania.
No, yeah, for sure. Once again, like I just want to reiterate, it's just the fact that we don't know. It just really makes me happy, and it's not super predictable. I do 100% agree that everyone that was involved in the Bloodline or has feuded with the Bloodline in some type of way is going to come to Cody's defense. So that's one thing's for sure. Now, will Cody get the dub? Will WWE let him get the dub? We'll see. Otherwise, there's going to be hella Cody crybabies out there. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go to our game. We do a weekly game here. If you're the first time here, it is called Push Bury Fire, where we like to choose wrestlers from any era and just either push them, bury them, or fire them, and piss off our co-hosts here. So I'm gonna start as always. We're gonna do 2 rounds here. All right. This week, past couple weeks, we were only able to do 1 round because we went long in segments. But today, we're moving right along. So, Gonzo, I'm going to give you your first push, bury fire, and you will give it to Angel, and then Angel will go to me. All right. So for Gonzo, your first push, bury fire is I'm going to give you some ECW legends, and it's a couple of our favorites growing up. I know it was a couple of Angel's favorites as well. So ECW legends, push, bury fire. We're going to go with my boy Taz. We're going to go Tommy Dreamer. And everyone's golden boy, Rob Van Dam. Push, bury, fire. Enjoy.
Whew. We're firing RVD. We're going to get rid of him. He does no benefit to me outside of just on screen. I like Tommy Dreamer because he actually adds creative behind the scenes in addition to not only on screen but off screen relevance. And then you also have Taz that can both do in-ring commentary and behind the scenes. So because of that, throughout the years, I've not heard RVD be uttered in the creative dynamics with things.
Okay.
So he's getting fired. Now, as far as burying and pushing, we are going to bury Taz, and then we are going to push Tommy Dreamer.
Wow, I thought that would be so much harder for you. Oh my goodness. And we just outright firing Rob Van Dam. Everyone did this shit.
I like versatility.
Before we jumped in your pool, what were we doing?
I was young and dumb at the time, of course. I'm young and dumb at the time, but I'm older now. I'm 33 years young, and because of that, I like the versatility of the other two versus just the on-screen presence.
Okay. Angel, do you agree with his push, bury, fire?
I mean, disrespecting RVD, I don't know, man. Like,
right?
He did it on 2 different shows. He held the show not by himself, but he was the lead face of the show back in ECW era. I mean, you got to give him some props, Gonzo. I mean, firing him, that's a little. If you want to bury him so he's not used against you, I think that might have been the move. But hey, all you, my guy.
All right. Already triggered some people out here. So, all right, David, Gonzo, give Angel his push, bury, fire.
Yeah, no worries. So as far as push, bury, fire, I've got a total of 9 different types of figures here. But
We
I'll
only
pick
do
this
3
one.
here. We only do 3 here.
I wanted to have definitely
9.
options. So we'll do it this way. We're going to go with the Wyatt family. As far
Okay.
as 3 members, I just want you to soak this in with the push, bury, fire them. So the first person I'll introduce is Eric Rowan. The second is Luke Harper. And then the last one is Braun Strowman.
Oh, Braun Strowman, not even Bray
Harp?
Wyatt. Oh,
So
okay.
wait.
Okay.
Eric Rowan,
Eric Rowan,
The
Luke
red
Harper,
beard.
yep,
Luke Harper.
and then Braun Strowman.
Strowman. Wow.
R.I.P. Luke.
Right. Wow.
I thought I was going to say Bray Wyatt. I was like, well, this is obvious.
I mean, he can't say Bray, right? Because that's like an automatic. I mean,
No, yeah. So, all right, that's fine. Braun Strowman. I know who I'm cutting.
I'm probably cutting Eric Rowan. I mean, this is tough though, because this is a group that rejuvenated the WWE in a way that I think is needed even today. I mean, we're seeing a little bit now, this past week a little bit, but this group was definitely an interesting and the dynamic group that it was entertaining as hell. And I'm thinking of them more off, like out of the ring, than I am thinking of them in ring. Like in ring, I think I'm going Harper. Out of the ring, I think I'm going Strowman. Ugh. I guess, man, this is hard. I think I'm gonna bury Harper just because
That's morbid.
I know. I think I gotta push Strowman and bury Harper, but I mean, this is really close. It's not because I want to. You're a dick, dude. That's morbid. So, all right, I guess I can't bury Harper. So
You can.
I'm
Go ahead.
pushing Harper.
Go ahead.
Bury
You're
Harper.
good. You're good. It
It's
was a
gonna get
bad
clipped,
joke.
and I'm gonna.
It was a
They'll be like,
bad
"Wow,
joke.
this guy's
I will not clip
this
it. I
guy-
promise. I promise.
this guy's evil."
All right. So you're burying Harper.
Right.
You're firing Rowan, and you're pushing Braun Strowman.
Right. Yeah. That's my final answer. I'm done
It's-
speaking on it.
It's the move. I would have done the same thing, but I'm glad you did it first.
Burying.
All
So
right.
that's what I'm gonna do. I would do the same thing just because Rowan, I felt like is the one that was, how can I put this? The X-Pac of the Wyatt family, the guy where I felt like he was there to make it a full faction, the guy that was there to do the backup. He was not a guy that would ever be straight away and push to lead a company where the others were, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, even Luke Harper were guys that you could go and start pushing them and see if you can get some type of main event level out of them. So I would have done the same thing.
Thanks. Thank you. All right, Gonzo, any response, by the way, for your little move you pulled on me today? I was not expecting to be dealing with the Wyatt family in that way.
No, that's all I got. It's good to know that you're burying.
Get ready for the Flybirds next week and who you're gonna bury.
Oh no!
team.
All right, Angel, what do you got for me, buddy?
All right. Me and Gonzo are like in the same wavelength here.
Okay, doing some factions. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. But this one's like we've been talking about them today a lot, so I had to ask. And it might be easier said than done, but we'll see. See how you feel about it. And I know you probably have a couple guys you like more than others, but we'll see. I'm gonna go NWO. Excuse me, not NWA.
Oh, it's like NWA. I was like, damn.
No,
I wasn't alive.
NWO.
Okay.
We're gonna go with the founding members, Scott and Kevin and Hulk.
Scott, Kevin, and Hulk. Oh, you got
The original 3.
Hulk Hogan's already fired. I can tell you that right now.
I didn't want to add Hulk, but I just had to because.
Can I ask a follow-up question? I'm gonna do one of David's move here. Is this like my personal favorite, or is this just like leading a company type deal?
No, it's push, bury, fire. I mean, you need to lead your company, so that's how I see it. Isn't that how you guys see it, or no?
All right, yeah, you're right. Okay, then I'm gonna push Hulk Hogan to the moon. just because of who he is and the money he makes that he makes. But if we're doing, I'm gonna give you two. All right. So if this is on a business perspective, I am pushing Hulk Hogan to the moon. I'm firing Kevin Nash or whatever you want to call him because don't care. He's a big man that can barely move, and he just power bombs and choke slams
Wow.
and boots to the face back in the day. And then I'm burying Scott Hall because I'm burying Scott Hall because I don't want him used against me because he was such an amazing talent. So unmute yourselves, guys, if you guys are gonna laugh.
Hey, we might have to use a different word besides bury coming up pretty soon. We have to change that word.
But if we are going based on my favorites, just because I hate Hulk Hogan, I'm firing him. You could take him. Screw that guy. I'm pushing Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, and I'm burying Kevin Nash. I guess. I mean, I'll just give him on the roster for something, but I could give a shit about Hulk Hogan. So screw that guy.
So you're about the Wolfpack. Scott Hall and Nash only.
All about the Wolfpack. All right. That was a good one. It was funny. I mean, I think everyone knew where I was going to go with that one, though. But
right.
So
a little softball one for you.
All right, I'm gonna. So now we're gonna go run it back, guys. Now we're gonna do counterclockwise. I'm gonna give Angels push Perry fire this time. And I'm gonna give Angel the option here because I, like David, have quite a few. So Angel, you could choose your push Perry fire to be either WCW Legends or Attitude Era tag teams. What would you like? Unmute yourself.
I think I'm no, sorry. Yeah, I was coughing. I think I'll go. Let's go with the tag teams.
All right,
I was a big fan of tag teams in that Attitude Era. Obviously, we talked about that.
So was I. I'm gonna give that to you, and it's not gonna be the obvious ones because we all know Dudley Boys are the greatest of all time. So I gotta plug them up real quick. All right, so Attitude Era tag teams. Your push Barry Fire. We're gonna go with Too Cool. Okay. We are gonna go with the New Age Outlaws prior to DX.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go with my personal favorite, the APA Protection Agency.
Mm-hmm.
Push Barry Fire.
Okay, those are three great Attitude Era tag teams that if the tag teams ahead of them weren't there, this is why the Attitude Era was so great because the roster was just never ending. You could have made a whole nother show. I mean, WCW even existed during that era, and you could have made a third show just with the guys that were behind these guys during the Attitude Era. Anyway, Too Cool, as amazing as they were, and as fun as they were, besides Rikishi, I mean, do you really Grandmaster Sexay is he
the son of a legend? The son of a legend.
I mean, you want to see the Worm. I love Rikishi though. I mean, he saves that group by like a million miles, and them dancing together is amazing. The music, the entrance music is amazing, like top tier all time.
Yo, the Royal Rumble dancing spot. I mean,
yes, that was phenomenal. And the Rikishi spanks him after. That's the best. Yeah, that's epic. Oh man, that's tough. All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna have to bury. Oh, man, this sucks. We're gonna bury. Wow. We're gonna bury the APA.
Oh.
Oh man, we're gonna fire Too Cool and we're gonna push the New Age Outlaws. And I always think about this, and maybe I shouldn't, but I just don't think Too Cool one had enough. I mean, only Rikishi really, but if one of them was to go down, a guy get hurt, anything like that, like I just don't see the potential for them to they just plateaued so much in my opinion. APA, they had so many different
Mark still hasn't caught his breath.
The APA's had so many eras of themselves, Acolytes and the Dam and the Protection Agency and moving on, and they had solo careers that were great. And the New Age Outlaws, to me, even before DX, Badass Billy Gunn, phenomenal in-ring wrestler. His mic skills have only recently become really noticed, I feel like, as he's aged. But Road Dogg on the mic, that's just iconic. Like you could say that anywhere, and it's just the pop machine. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna push New Age, bury APA, fire Too Cool.
Unreal.
That's amazing.
Why? Wait. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Why? You want me to tell you? I mean, you don't. David, tell me who you want first before I go off on this guy.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
it's APA just from the comedic relief part. I mean, the
Dude.
whole fact that they're playing poker and they have the
Bro,
random door that they actually.
exactly.
Oh yeah, that was
Like,
a great
they
spot.
used to
That
beat
was
the
awesome.
hell out of Crash Holly just for not knocking on the door. Like, I mean, the promos that they can cut, they're both former champions. I mean, in their solo career, like I'm pushing them to the moon just because of their skits alone. Their in-ring ability obviously speaks for themselves, considering they're both former world champions. So, in their own right, I mean, I'm pushing them all day. I agree with you with firing Too Cool, even though that pains me. But you know, you'd have to. They're the ones that pose the least threat, in my opinion. You know, and I'm burying the New Age Outlaws because you're right. You know, Road Dogg is awesome. I don't want him being used against me.
Right.
You know, Billy Gunn was definitely, I felt like, underappreciated and underutilized.
I 100%. That Billy Gunn is super underutilized for his era. Sorry, I just had to say that.
Yeah. But I'm pushing APA to the moon, man. That was my favorite tag team outside of the obvious three from that era.
I respect it.
100%.
I respect it.
100%.
I respect it, man. It's a good 3. Even Too Cool, who you know I fired them, but I think they're still an amazing performance tag team or fractional.
But it's all right. It's cool. No one ever respects the APA, and their entrance music was just badass. You just knew you're gonna get your ass kicked. But whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Give Davis push Barry fire.
All right, Gonzo. We're going modern era.
Ooh.
Right now. You are Triple H, Paul Levesque. Are you pushing, burying, or firing Bobby Lashley, Big E, Breaker?
Oh, that's easy.
We're firing Lashley. I cannot stand the Almighty. Mark already knows this. I cannot stand the Almighty.
100%.
You know, the Great Khali, how much I love that man and how he can't move. Bobby Lashley, I think, is even more immobile than the Great Khali.
Come on, stop.
No.
Stop.
Now that's a stretch.
You're going too far.
No,
we're not going to let you say that here.
His muscle mass doesn't allow him to actually just.
Gonzo, we're not about clickbaiting here. Don't clickbait.
Yeah, I'm not doing the clickbait here. So who it was? Was it Braun Baker? Braun Breaker. You said, and then who was the other?
Yeah, Big E, Lashley, and Braun Breaker.
Big E's getting buried, and Breaker, I'm gonna push him. I love his charisma. It's amazing. His entrance music, I finally listened to a little bit more closely. Finally, it's a combination of the original Steiner tag team, and then of course the Sirens with Big Papa Pump. So that in itself,
cool. I didn't think
charisma. About that. Even the
that's
singlet.
his uncle.
Yeah, I know, but I just didn't think about it.
You know, the bright colors of the wrestling attire that he's got on, it's homage to the whole Steiner family, which is pretty awesome.
Right. Well, he needs to do a promo doing math like his uncle did. That'd be sweet.
So that's my thing. The Almighty. I mean, no, absolutely not. The fact that he's in the Elimination Chamber, I can't. So I got something for.
I got word to the Elimination Chamber for later though. When we get to
will. We're gonna get there rather quickly. All right, last push Barry fire so we can move on.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I will save some of these other ones for another time. But with Mark being my person of choice at the moment, this one I'm gonna give it to him. It's gonna be members of the Shield: Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns.
That's a good one.
Did they make the right choices at this moment? So I'll give that to you right now to ponder.
So I remember when we all, started watching The Shield, and obviously Dean Ambrose was the guy. Everyone wanted him to be the guy. Looking at their careers right now, I think we made the correct choice. I think we're firing Dean Ambrose. I think we're burying Seth Rollins, and I'm pushing Roman Reigns to the moon. Only if I'm getting bloodline Roman Reigns. If the bloodline didn't exist, then we're firing Roman Reigns without question. But since we're talking about their careers and how it's been in WWE, I felt as though they put all their chips into like Dean Ambrose, and clearly that wasn't the move.
You're pushing Roman.
Let's eliminate your ability to look into a crystal ball and look at their career paths. I want you to push that off to the side. If you go back all those years ago.
So I don't know anything that happened. I don't know anything that happened.
You don't have a crystal ball. You know nothing.
So just based on just their debut alone up to 3, and I'm learning about them all over again.
They're still together as the Shield, even before the breakup.
Then I'm firing Roman Reigns. I'm pushing Dean Ambrose because he's the only one that was competent on the mic at that time, and I'm burying Seth Rollins.
Okay, let's
Angel
go back
hates
to
me right now.
But you're kind of contradicting yourself. I know we're trying to get quick here. Just answer this.
Yeah.
You say you're pushing Roman, knowing everything that's happened.
Knowing everything that's happened and the character that he has become, yes.
You literally say he can't talk.
Yeah, but
Seth
if
talks
you give
every
him,
week.
if you give him, I'm saying because he has the manager. I mean, everyone loved Brock Lesnar, right? Who was his fucking manager? The guy can't speak. The guy sounds like a squeaky toy.
I feel like you could bury Roman and Seth can do anything. But yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I heard you.
I'm talking about character. I'm talking about characterized, right? The character that I love, and I'm pro faction, and I feel
What's his
like
character?
the leader of the greatest faction in pro wrestling history.
He's the leader, or is it Paul Heyman? Because you say Paul Heyman talks for him.
I mean, yeah, because that's his wise man.
So he's the body.
He's so good.
And-
He'd be like, yo,
and Paul's the
speak for
brain.
me. He's
So
like,
it's the
"Speak
body
for
and the
me."
brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pinky in the brain if we go 90s retro here.
I could just tell you right now, like Seth Rollins, I never really appealed, appeals to me. Like I'm just,
He still has more.
I think he's the shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I just
I
didn't really
see why
care.
everyone loves Roman, but I don't know. I feel like Seth just can do more alone. Roman hasn't really proved to me that when he's alone, he can do it. But even Ambrose does a lot more alone than Roman does. But I respect it.
That's cool. All right, so are we done with Push Fairy Fire? Angel, you want to attack me a little more? Or?
I just had to confirm what I heard. Let's go.
All right, let's move on quickly to NXT here. All right. It wasn't really a great show this week. I mean, it wasn't like something where I'm just like, man, the show was amazing. It felt it just moved along. But key things I do want to talk about. So number one, Carmelo Hayes, he had a great match with Joe Gacy. I thought that was really, really good. But I'm going to focus more on the post match. I don't really want to break down the match at all. So post match, he looks straight at the camera and points and says, and puts Dragunov on notice that he's coming from. So is he the next in line to regain the championship, or is this just a ploy until Trick Williams is ready to come back and beat his ass and they meet at Stand and Deliver? Gonzo, what do we got? Unmute yourself. There you go. It's okay. Just go. You're good.
So my dogs are barking. I'll let Angel take over.
No,
All right,
so I got it. So yeah, I think it's more of a ploy maybe. I like Hayes a lot, but Trick has just skyrocketed, obviously, and yeah, I think what you said, it's gonna be until he can come back and really, push it. There's the top spot vacancy kind of at this point, but I don't know. Do you see Carmelo Hayes really being able to get back an NXT title right now?
I think he's pretty much done with NXT. I think this is just to give one more solid match, if we even get another match, because what happened? Carmelo Hayes cost Trick Williams championship, or at least was in his head and did little things here. So I think Trick Williams is gonna eventually cost Carmelo Hayes his championship, leading to their WrestleMania at Stand and Deliver. So that's what the NXT wrestling do that in WrestleMania.
Philly. That's also in Philly, right?
Yes, everything's in Philly. So I think that's going to be the payoff. And I think after that, I don't know how far they're going to push the feud. I mean, maybe they'll do a one-off. I'm assuming they're going to do a one-off just because of how Carmelo has been on the main show for so long, like doing the United States Championship tournament, doing these matches. So I feel like they're teasing his call-up, and I think after that it does. But like I said, you just don't know because obviously the story is going to write
Trick's
itself.
Call-up?
Right?
You're talking about Trick's call-up? Trick's call-up?
No, Carmelo's
call-up. Okay, sorry.
Trick is going to stay in NXT.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But yeah, so I mean, it all depends. It's how good the story is going to be. Is one match between them going to be good enough, or do they want to do some type of a trilogy type rubber match type deal? I think time for Carmelo Hayes to just go up, but it just depends how you develop the story. So if I had to say it right now, I say Trick Williams goes over on Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams re-enters the title picture post
the top guy.
Yeah,
takes over the breaker spot and whatever else.
Because like I said, I'm very high on him. He's Booker T 2.0 in my opinion. That guy's like he's got it, and I could see him main eventing WrestleMania before I could see Carmelo Hayes main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah, you've said that before, and now
Yeah.
seeing these matches a little bit more, I kind of can see where you're coming from for that, for sure. Like he can, even though I like Carmelo in ring, I could see why Trick is really the guy that can take that step. He'll leapfrog Carmelo at this point.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love Carmelo Hayes. He's one of the guys that, like I said, I'm a wrestling card collector. He's one of the cards I was chasing. It was him and Braun Breaker are the main ones. Like those are the guys that you expect to be the new top dogs. You know, the young guns coming in. You know, so to speak.
Right.
But now seeing Trick and his character development over the year and go from just backing up Carmelo Hayes to overshadowing Carmelo Hayes, Trick is definitely the bigger star of the two. And
no, go ahead. Sorry. No,
yeah.
Go.
Yeah, and Trick is definitely the bigger star of the two, in my opinion. So if I had to choose one to push, if we want to go push Barry Fire type deal, I'm burying Carmelo Hayes and I'm pushing Trick Williams to the moon.
Yeah, I can
100%.
I agree
100%.
Right now, I see that. Are you real quick? Are you surprised that Carmelo beat Gacy?
No, Gacy takes his bumps. Gacy's right now feuding with Dijak, and he's doing his little crazy storyline. So I'm not really too surprised about it. Gacy's been kind of in a downward crazy spiral since his Schism faction broke up.
Right.
So I feel like they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do with Gacy as of this moment. He might be another
split, right.
Yeah.
Like this show, he was kind of like because Dijak and all that.
Yeah, he could be a main roster call up too. He's been in NXT for quite some time. He could be a character. I just don't know where he falls right now, just because the roster is pretty stacked. So you have to call up these guys slow. You know, you can't just all call them up at one time, because then you can't expect to push all these guys at the same time.
Because you're self-burying if you start calling guys up and they barely even
exactly. So I personally think he is ready. I just don't think now is the time. So I think right now he's going to take his bumps. His feud with Dijak has been entertaining. I mean, so we'll see what happens. So no, I'm not surprised.
Gotcha.
But let's move on. Obafemi has been pushed, and to your guys' surprise, because he's a big man, perfectly. The guy has been pushed perfectly since winning that NXT breakout tournament. I am all in on Obafemi so far. Hopefully they keep it strong. They don't give him squash matches and let him showcase his athleticism and his in-ring ability, which I think are freaking solid. So Gonzo, I know this is your boy, Obafemi. What do you think so far?
Oba and Baku Femi. I'm a big fan. And as far as his chant, I keep making mention of that. It's literally a cut and copy paste of the M'Baku character from Marvel. That's what I see, and I love everything about it. And so as far as him going against Lexus King up here in the next upcoming week, the overall prediction with that one, I could definitely see Oba again going over on King. King is in a position where he doesn't have to win every single match that he's a part of, and it's already been evident where he's won, he's lost. His presence alone is strong enough to where he could sustain that loss, and it won't hurt his initial character for what he's doing. But as far as Oba goes, he's able to talk, he's able to move, very explosive, and unlike Bobby Lashley, this man's muscle mass does not prohibit him from actually doing very athletic, quick movements. And so I'm a very big fan of Obafemi at this time.
What's his chant? Do his chant, little... Like
it's the right, you know,
yeah.
as far as
I think that is
goes.
Dude, it is so cool right now. The crowd is super behind him. So, and the way that every time he spoke, it was reminiscent of the what chants, right? Every time he stopped, people are like, what, right?
Or yeet, yep.
Or yeet. But Obafemi right now, he's got the ooh. And when the crowd is behind you like that, you know you got something. Like they have really took to him so quickly, because he just won that tournament like 3-4 weeks ago. So they are super over. I think he's already super over, and I just hope that they keep that going. Okay, what were you gonna say?
Femi forever.
No, I mean, yeah, he's gonna. Like Gonzo said, he's taking on that personality. Like he's a leader in Wakanda. It's hilarious. Like the crowd's all with him. I was just gonna say, yeah, when you got these phrases like what, yeet, yeah, you know, it's like a kickstart to a mic machine. You know what I mean? You get people following you this way. It's every single promo you say, and now they're gonna be saying this when other people are doing their promos, and like you're just getting heat no
Mhm.
matter what, even when you're
Mhm.
not even on screen. Maybe you're not even be there that week. You might not even be at the arena, and you're still gonna get that heat. So he knows what he's doing. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Unless you guys have anything to add about Obafemi, I'm just along for the ride. I think he does beat Lexus King. My only concern, not concern, my only thing is I don't know if Lexus King is going to be a feud or a one-off, personally, because WWE has invested, with promo teasers with Lexus King, with him coming. I would personally like to see it be Obafemi's first legitimate feud as opposed to a one-off. Because I want to see him actually drop promos more than what he just did. I want to see him create a story with someone that is pushing him to his limits. Like David said, Lexus King doesn't necessarily need to win because he already is also so popular and over, and he's a guy that could take bumps. But I also don't want to see Oba squash him either. I need to see a good match, but I wanted to see it continue because I know this is a WWE show, but I'm gonna go over to the AEW side a little bit. Part of Wardlow's problem was he never got into a legitimate feud as TNT champion, and he squashed people as champion. And that's why I commend WWE, because so far Oba has not squashed anybody. He's showcasing his athleticism, but now I want to see him tell a story, and that's what I love. If anything else on that, let's move on to the Wolf Dogs.
Mud Dogs.
The mud
Mud
dogs,
Dogs, the
David
Mud
likes to
Dogs.
call them the wolf
There we go.
dogs.
I told you that they would go over. You didn't want to believe it, huh?
Defeated the family first. Oh, I'm so mad. Defeated the family to become the NXT Tag Team Champions. I understand the move. They're popular. What I don't understand is why them, because Braun Breaker's on SmackDown now. So you're gonna have them. I mean, you're gonna have them pull double duty. What's gonna go on? I felt like if you are building people in NXT, right? NXT is once again, even though it's its own brand, but it's also a developmental brand. It should have been someone to go over that you're gonna push, not someone who's gonna be a short-term team. And I think the Wolf Mud Dogs, whatever you want to call them, is a short-term thing. So I feel like having the family who is super over, personally one of my favorites, dropped titles to them. I felt like it was kind of a bad move. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I feel like this is some sort of plan in place for Braun. I don't know what it is though. I don't know if they're protecting him in some way. Him going to SmackDown was weird to me. I thought he should have went to Raw.
Agreed.
Him going to SmackDown was like, all right, interesting choice. I don't know if they even know what they're gonna do with him yet. And him being on SmackDown, there's a lot in front of him on SmackDown. So I'm thinking NXT having the titles, this is some way of introducing him to the main card, or the main shows, but still giving him a chance to perform, to be noticed, to be known. They can advertise his NXT matches on SmackDown, or whenever, he'll be on both shows probably. We'll see. That's how it is now, whatever. But anyways, on SmackDown, they could be like, next week, catch Braun again, wrestling for the titles, defending the titles, whatever they may be. I feel like this is just some sort of transition that they're like testing out. Why they pushed him to sign so quickly and to go to SmackDown, very confusing as far as I'm concerned right now. I don't know what the plan is, but
So do you feel like SmackDown was not the best brand for him to succeed? You felt like he should have been on Raw. Would that put him in a
100%.
better position to succeed?
Yeah, 100%. Even if he goes to Raw, he could skyrocket right away. He probably doesn't need the tag titles anymore with the dogs. Doesn't need to be on NXT anymore.
Exactly.
You can let NXT now. It opens up a spot for more guys. We already talked about Trick being that guy, but opens up. When Trick moves up, another guy moves up behind him. So on and so forth. That domino effect.
Yeah, for
of
sure.
NXT. So Braun still being there. It's interesting. I don't know. Like I said, that's the only thing I could think of. It's some sort of this test transition period. Maybe this is like a Triple H idea or whoever else might be involved going on with this, that we're going to slowly introduce him, but it's not a full send. and he's going to be able to still perform, practice, show out, be advertised, promoted. You know, I think that's all it really is right now. We'll see.
Gonzo?
I'll be short. SmackDown, that's where the money's at. Ultimately, you need someone to be able to be placed onto that brand with the other superstars. I can see an evolution move coming here with The Rock, Roman, and now the possible push of the Wise Man bringing aboard another young talent. It was already foreshadowed, sprinkled a little bit with the Wise Man briefly a couple episodes ago on SmackDown, acknowledging Braun Breaker for a split second. And so you have a show where technically the Wise Man is supposed to be on more consistently. And as we've all seen, the next big thing, Paul Heyman is usually that person to help ascend an up-and-coming star. He's done it with Roman. He's done it even more so with CM Punk. He's done it with, of course, Brock Lesnar. Who's to say that this doesn't give an opportunity to build story now with attracting, once they get rid of the Wise Man, as you see more of the dysfunction within the bloodline, for the Wise Man to go a different direction now.
I
That's
mean,
all I'll say.
he failed with Curtis Axel, so
I mean, I don't think anyone could have saved that guy.
he was a former Intercontinental Champion.
Wasn't perfect.
That doesn't mean much. But
Um,
Gonzo, you're saying he's
yeah.
gonna Paul is gonna take him on solo. Like he's not gonna bring him into the bloodline.
I think that's a possible play. I think
Into the bloodline?
No,
No.
Solo. Like he breaks
Solo.
away.
when Roman loses, Roman goes away.
Yeah.
Keep Paul Heyman on TV. We give him to Braun.
That's
I can see
that's another Paul Heyman guy. And so that's where I'll just say the move to SmackDown would make a little bit more sense outside of course, TV with money. We're going to pay to make sure that this remains to be very important.
What would have been the best brand for him to succeed?
SmackDown.
Okay.
More star power. You have the money. You have Fox. You have the demand. Not only you have The Rock being able to elevate people, Paul Heyman can elevate people. You have more star power, and just the sheer mention of people in segments like this can help elevate other stars. We're already seeing this with Drew McIntyre.
Couldn't he do the same thing on Raw and already be contending for
The Intercontinental Championship.
the IC title right now?
I know that's what Mark wanted, but I had said that ultimately that wasn't the play that I saw in my mind. And so I know I said I wanted him after WrestleMania to do stuff. They already brought him to the roster before WrestleMania. So, I mean, ultimately, I like SmackDown because I like the idea of the amount of talent that's there and the people that could potentially bring him around a little bit more, probably behind the scenes with the scheduling and how things are. I will argue that it's probably a little bit more in the favor of SmackDown, hence the reason why they went with this decision. If we weren't just trying to keep it SmackDown has all the money and the viewership, et cetera, and et cetera.
If you're on SmackDown, what's the mid-card title that you would go for?
United States Championship.
Right. And
Yeah, I mean, Logan Paul, but they'll probably try and protect him too.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't see Logan and him being a good mix, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't see Braun right now needing a title just yet. I mean, because ultimately he's going to crush people. He's going to do all these wonderful things. They'll put a title on him at some point.
Yeah, but
I
also don't want Braun Breaker coming to the main roster doing squash matches like he's freaking Ryback either.
Exactly. And
yeah, but other fans like that though. Like me growing up as a kid, I love Goldberg just decimating bodies.
That's been done so many times now, though. I mean, it's
not for the new generation. That's for the whole 2-minute match thing that we talked about last time. God. Bam, go out there, Braun.
What's it called again?
5 minutes or less. It doesn't matter.
I forget.
WWE Next? Wait, no. What's it called?
Fast? I forget.
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not Nexus.
The Twitter X show. I forgot what it was called. SmackDown was the star show until that Netflix hits and WWE might leave Fox.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that makes sense.
Speed. There you go. Thank you.
I know it's Fast.
Something.
Fast Lane. Remember that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I personally would have wanted him to see on Monday Night Raw. I felt like it would have been a better opportunity for him. It's the same way as I feel like LA Knight needs to be on Monday Night Raw as well. But we shall see. I mean, all roads leading that everything's going to start opening up where Roman Reigns would leave. So more opportunity for everybody. But we should see.
You got a bunch of part-timers on SmackDown. So ultimately, they need someone that needs to be there.
You have the USA title that just got
the part-timed. You got a part-timer in Logan
owner
Paul.
Of the
Universal
USA title just wrestled on his show for the first time ever.
You got a bunch of part-timers on SmackDown.
Exactly.
That's all I'll say.
Exactly.
He just wrestled on his show for the first
time ever. What a bunch of bullshit. But whatever. I mean, you know how I feel about part-time champs and
Yeah.
squash matches and all that good stuff. But
Mhm.
I don't agree. I don't agree with them winning the tag titles on NXT, especially when I feel like it's just a part-time thing. That's just my take on it. And I felt as though he should have been on Raw. But we're not gonna devote too much time on that. We'll see what happens. So let's go into our tail end of the show. We got the Elimination Chamber predictions. Let's get it right now. All right, guys. So number one, Grayson Waller is actually from Australia. I'm kind of shocked he was not in a actual match. But he is doing the Grayson Waller Effect, his show, and his
was it Saturday?
yes, this Saturday at 3:30 a.m. here in Chicago. 3:30 a.m. bright and early if you want to watch it. Anyway, so Grayson Waller will host the Grayson Waller Effect, and his special guests are going to be Rollins and Rhodes. So Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. What are you guys' predictions for that? Is that going to be some type of bloodline interaction? Like, what do we got going on there?
It's the new age of WWE, and this is going to be their thing now. They're going to be promoting. They're going to be introducing new things, new ideas. It's going to be all done now outside of the main shows. You're going to have to tune in multiple times a week with this speed, with these events, the presser we just had. TKO is turning this UFC vibes of how to promote events into WWE. You can see it bleeding over now, and this is just another version of it. It's like a weigh-in almost, right?
So you think they're gonna do that actually on the show, because that's gonna be on the actual elimination card. Like he has a segment on the actual card.
Oh,
so yeah.
Oh, I thought it was before the card.
No, I'm pretty sure the Grayson. So according to the official card, that's part of it where he's gonna do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I
could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, he does like his little Grayson Waller effect in the ring. So I feel like it's going to be some type of.
Oh, I thought it was outside of the show.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of stuff that's there.
So I'm not entirely sure.
People are sleeping.
No, I know. I think it's 4 a.m. for us, maybe. Okay,
3:30 a.m. 3:30
a.m. I thought it was outside of the show. Okay,
they're doing a bunch of other things.
So it's like a KO leading into it. I thought it was its own thing.
That's a segment on there. So we're gonna get the Grayson Waller effect with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes and probably the Bloodline.
Okay, so this is Seth Rollins appearing because he can't
on his show.
He can't wrestle. So this is Seth Rollins' appearance. Cody has nothing to wrestle for because he's already booked for WrestleMania. So
Roman already said he's not going to be there.
Roman, yeah, he doesn't have to say that. We already know.
Of course.
So basically, this is just a segment to promote WrestleMania again with two guys that have already spoke to each other before. So I don't have much to say anymore then. I thought it was something more exciting.
Gonzo?
It's a trap. Because we already seen Grayson Waller talk with the wise man. And so as we know, I mean, Waller is a dirty rat that does a lot of stuff. He's a mercenary for hire. And ultimately, I could definitely see how someone's going to get, a gigantic spike to the throat, get beat up, and then they're not going to be able to do too much. He gives the hometown kid a spot on the show, absolutely, for the promotion. I know that comment just came in from the comment section. They're doing a lot of good stuff with pushing the international wrestlers, entertainers, but now they're allowing them to be seen, to be heard again, because those are the voices and the faces that crowd is most accustomed to, vice versa with us. So that's what I'll just say in regards to the Waller effect.
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty much the same. I mean, it's some type of. I mean, we did see Paul Heyman, so I think something's gonna happen. Some type of bloodline interaction, but we shall see. The Women's World Championship match: Rhea Ripley defends against Nia Jax. Who wins?
Nia Jax.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I've given my reasons in the last episode. Angel, you getting ready for the jacuzzi?
There is no possible way. There's no possible way in this world. I know Angel's gonna back me up. He better back me up. That freaking Rhea Ripley loses before WrestleMania to Nia Jax. There's no way. There's no way. Angel?
Yeah, I said everything I needed to say last time we talked about this. I'm not going to go into it again. Gonzo's wrong. Let's move on. We know who's winning.
In her country. Yeah, thank you, Blackwell. In her country, Rhea Ripley's not freaking losing.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. with no one watching, because I ain't watching that shit live. I'm thinking,
I believe
not happening.
I believe in the almighty fist of fate.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
for
Anyways,
those of you that did not watch last week's episode, if that happens, AOK Gaming, who is a Twitch gamer streaming, will stream in some type of pool or hot tub because he is, in one with the reality, knowing that that's never going to happen. So moving on.
betting the house. Let's go.
The undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship is on the line against Judgment Day and the newly formed team New Catch Republic. That is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Who wins?
We're gonna see this New Catch Republic. I don't know about the name. I like the way they wrestle though. I was making fun of the Strong Boy for a minute, but in the ring they perform. I think they gotta maybe they get some matching outfits, some ring gear. I think the ring gear is just what puts me off with them. I don't know what it is, but I think they win. I think Judgment Day, the R-Truth stuff's awesome, but I think it's meeting its,
Tail end.
Tail end.
Okay.
Thank you. I think it's coming down now. R-Truth, he sat down. We saw when Mysterio was fighting. He took out the chair and sat, and it seems like he's gonna go off from them maybe, or he'll feud with them. But I think there's something going on where the Judgment Day. I mean, you don't really see Rhea with them anymore. How often does Rhea even show up with Judgment Day? She's always either defending her title or on another show, or I don't know. I feel like they could be breaking up. So I see, I forgot their name already, but Dunne and Big Strong Boy winning the titles.
Gonzo, who wins?
We'll go with the Strong Boy. And my logic for this is that the Tidy Whiteys are going to prevail.
Stop, dude.
Ultimately, that you don't have the Undisputed Championship tag team on night 1 or 2 of WrestleMania. You're just going to totally move away from it. You're going to give the international wrestlers their roses. This will allow for more of an emphasis on Rhea Ripley's match, and you don't have to necessarily be overtaken or overwhelmed with too much of the Judgment Day. And so I'm over the Judgment Day and their tag championships. I mean, it's whatever. I'm bored of them. So Senor Money in the Bank needs to do something, loses briefcase. I mean, I don't know. Strong Boy all the way. Tidy Whiteys for life. Hashtag it.
I agree. I think the Judgment Day loses. I think they're, for a new team, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, the New Catch Republic, doing it in their home as well. I think they're doing that on purpose to get the fans more behind them, because I feel as though they're not. They're just not that much behind. They're behind Pete Dunne because of what he does as a single wrestler. That doesn't take away from Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate was great in NXT UK. So was Dunne as well in NXT. But I just feel like on the main roster, they're still trying to get their footing. So I think this is a way for them to get over, because you have that hometown crowd giving them the pop that they're going to give you. So yeah, I think they win that way, and I don't think it's going to be a clean victory. I think we're going to start seeing the more signs of Damian Priest and Finn Balor getting into it more and not being on the same page. I think that's going to continue as what they've been doing for a couple months. So I think that's how it is. Moving on. We got the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which will determine the number 1 contender for Rhea Ripley's heavyweight championship at WrestleMania. So we got Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan versus Tiffany Stratton from NXT and the returning Naomi. We do have one more to be determined. We'll get into that prediction in a second. Well, actually, you know what? No. So the last person will be determined on Raw will be between Michin, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, and Zelina Vega. So of all those women that we just mentioned, who earns the honor against Rhea Ripley? Because it's not going to be Nia Jax.
Jade Cargill, because all those women are trash.
So even though she has not been announced,
she's going to insert herself by force, and I'm all for it. So fantasy book me.
So let's pretend she's doesn't do that. Who's actually going to win?
Out of those, that dumpster fire, Christ. I mean, Shayna Baszler, sure, why not? UFC it up.
Okay, Angel, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to ask the same thing. We need an answer besides Jade. I mean, I just don't want to hear.
So Gonzo's saying Shayna Baszler is going to win the Last Chance Battle Royal and then face Rhea Ripley. Okay. Because it ain't going to be Nia Jax. Who wins the women's elimination chamber, Angel?
Oh, the chamber itself.
Yeah, who wins?
Oh, wait. I thought you were talking about the Rumble or the
No, that's getting included. David says
Battle
Shayna
Royal.
Baszler. David says Shayna Baszler is going to win the battle royal on Raw, and she's
Okay.
going to win the elimination chamber to face
what?
What? Oh no.
to face Rhea Ripley.
No, that's not what he meant.
That's
Oh,
what I
clarify
asked
that.
him.
You asked me the Royal Rumble. I said
No, yeah.
Shayna
No,
Baszler.
pay attention. All right,
Yeah,
we're doing a
listen.
show here. Who
Okay.
wins on
Listen.
Raw,
I
and
figured.
then
Right.
who wins the
Shayna
overall
Baszler.
match to face
Oh,
Rhea
oh.
Ripley?
yeah, I was
Oh.
gonna say, bro. Like, what?
You
is
were
going on?
so taken back by my Jade Cargill just running through
Because
everybody.
it's not going to happen. It's not realistic unless she wins the
This
WrestleMania.
is David's
it's not gonna
fantasy
happen.
booking. This is
We're
David's
talking
fantasy
legit.
booking.
We're talking legit. As much as
make it-
I agree with you and I want it to happen, it's not because you're not going to have Rhea Ripley lose.
All right. We got his battle royal. Gonzo, go ahead with your.
Who wins the
Elimination
elimination chamber number one contender?
winner,
Who wins?
please?
Becky Lynch is trash. Bianca Belair, I'm over her. Liv Morgan is garbage. Needs to be fired. Naomi's garbage.
We do
needs to
not
go back
promote
to
anybody
TNA.
getting fired on this show. Everyone, just letting you guys know.
Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton's winning it all because that's the only one that actually is of intrigue to me right now. So there you go. Moonsaulted all the way.
Okay, Angel, save the segment.
I mean, I don't know if I can save it. Yeah, the battle royal. I really don't know. I was gonna say Zelina, but she seems like she's feuding with Lopez. Is it Lopez? She had
Electra Lopez. They
Electra
might.
Lopez.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah, so I don't know. She's probably gonna lose that. So I don't know who's gonna win the battle royal. I don't think it really matters. I can just move on from that question. They're kind of just like they're just filling up a time slot on SmackDown. Or is it SmackDown that they're doing that match? SmackDown, right?
What the battle royal?
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
Oh, it's on Raw. Well, there you go. It's filling up a slot in Raw. 3 hours of no talent. No, I'm just kidding. But there's less talent on Raw than on SmackDown. So I'm
That's why
kidding.
That's why Braun Breaker should have been there.
Exactly. But anyways, so it doesn't matter. The winner of the Elimination Chamber is going to be Becky Lynch because we already know this. It's already done. It's in stone. She's literally at the presser. It's like, I don't understand why we even have these. Whatever. I like pressers, but that was kind of weird. I guess Bianca was there too, but she didn't even talk to anybody.
Nope.
I love Tiffany Stratton. She should win, in my opinion, but she's not going to. It's going to be Becky. And yeah, we'll see Becky versus Rhea. I guess people want to see that. I don't really care for that anymore, but sure.
So the last chance battle royal, I think is going to be Shayna Baszler. No, I take it back. I lied. It's going to be Zoe Stark. I forgot she was in it. So Zoe Stark, she was recently paired with Trish Stratus. I feel like they're going to give her a couple good spots in there. As far as the actual match itself, Tiffany Stratton, I don't agree with her being the person that should win. I think she should put a good showing because she's being pushed, but to put her in a match with Rhea Ripley away.
Why not?
Put her in a match with Rhea Ripley only to lose. Paige was a different beast. Paige was a different beast.
How?
Man. She was far better
Just
in the ring.
No, I don't know. Okay.
But no, I'm not discrediting what you're saying. I'm just
You're saying because Rhea's gonna beat whoever she faces, right? So that's the biggest problem we have.
Correct.
Right now. Rhea's become Roman, so now we don't know what to put against her because they lose anyway. So now we don't know what to do with anyone behind Rhea.
Now it's the same thing like with Jade Cargill. I 100 million kajillion% want Jade Cargill to be in that match and to beat Rhea Ripley, but it's not gonna.
Right. No, if Dave's little theory comes to life, yeah, Jade is the only one that could have it. No, because Jade is the only one on the entire roster from top to bottom that has a shot to take the belt from Rhea. When that will happen, we don't know. Yeah, right away, especially right now. Yeah, she's the only one, and it's like a 5% chance or less.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just don't see that happening, and I feel like if you do it to Tiffany Stratton, you set her off for failure right away. So I think Becky Lynch is the one who's going to win. They've already been teasing it. I think it's going to happen. It's been dubbed a dream match, which for whatever reason doesn't make sense to me because they're on the roster. They can fight at any point in time, but whatever. I think it's going to be Becky Lynch
next,
and Becky gets clapped.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Next men's elimination chamber match, the main event, number one contender. We got Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. The winner earns the right to face Seth Rollins. at WrestleMania for the second place consolation prize championship?
So Orton, Lashley, Paul, pointless. They shouldn't be there. KO, Knight, McIntyre are going to be the real people we're going to be watching in this match. Who wins? Probably McIntyre. He just has all the heat right now. LA, oh man, I feel bad for LA.
He needs it the most, in my
He
opinion.
needs it the most, and I would not be upset if he won, even though I love McIntyre right now. But Knight is just in this. He's in this limbo land right now because of all this stuff happening. All this stuff happening above him. And McIntyre's the only guy that they could really pull out of this match, and he's got heat with all the guys above him, right? He's got heat with Seth. He's got heat with Cody. He's got heat with CM Punk, obviously, when he comes back. Even Roman and him have had, stuff. I mean, LA Knight has too, but I don't know. Him and AJ, which I can't believe AJ lost. And then that little segment they had with AJ in the back, I don't know what's going on with AJ. But anyways, I think it's McIntyre. I would like to see LA Knight win, though. That'd be cool.
I agree before David goes, and I think you and I are on the same on this one. I think Drew McIntyre wins. I think he gets his title shot. But I think out of everyone that needs it the most, it's 100% LA Knight. This is the way you get him off the SmackDown brand to Monday Night Raw. Even if he doesn't win the championship against Seth Rollins, if he wins and gets to face, even if he doesn't, he gets better opportunity for people that are actually there. No one's blocking him. So I think that needs to happen. But I think it's Drew McIntyre. However, Drew McIntyre reportedly has not re-signed his contract. So I don't know if you waste it because it expires a little after WrestleMania. So I don't know.
That's
Gonzo, your prediction?
The Almighty's going out right off the bat. He's probably not going to be able to get into the ring because he's so immobile. But with that being said, you're going to see LA Knight get screwed over by a flying forearm coming from the top of a cage or pulling him to the depths of hell through the cage. I'm definitely interested to see that because of that angle. And you're going to see a water bottle just placed somewhere in the ring. But Logan Paul is a very interesting component with this whole thing. As far as him being pushed, he has a 90 overall rating in 2K. If they really wanted to continue to give this dude this almighty push, I wouldn't be all too surprised if that was possibly going to happen. Now, would I want that to happen? No. To me, I want Drew McIntyre. As much as I love LA Knight, everything that Drew's been able to do so far, the savior, as he has ultimately been dubbing himself here of lately.
Yeah. He says you're welcome a lot, too.
You're welcome. He's a man that walks without faith, but he has faith. He's selling merch now. I would like to see Drew McIntyre. But again, the Logan Paul angle, don't be too shocked with that. I liked how in this most recent week, they've been giving you the overall 2K ratings for wrestlers that they've been showing on the actual television now.
How many have they shown? I've only seen 2.
They've done it because they gave Miz a rating of 81 overall versus 90 overall.
That was garbage, but yeah. That's the only one I saw.
Miz should be 75. But
oh my
anyway,
God.
The only thing that's saving him is his ultimately Major League 2 celebration with the big balls as he walks out when he gets introduced to start.
Dude, the Miz is the hardest worker in the company, man. You're so...
That's nice. 71 overall, just like back in the day with old school wrestling overalls.
Oh my God.
There's only been, we'll get into it in just a second, but there's only been 6 that have been released of the official ratings.
Thank you, Mark.
Logan Paul's 90 overall. So that's why I said don't be shocked if for whatever the reason you see him go
I
way
like
far
Logan,
into the
but
chamber.
that last match he just had with the Miz was not very good, and he messed up a couple times.
That standing moonsault hit his freaking Miz's toes. That was horrible.
It was not
okay.
horrible. Miz saved that match. Miz is a professional. So, but whatever.
So, not to get too much into it, but that's where I see David, like you're talking about, he could face, Logan Paul could face Braun Breaker, how you said, there's guys. You can't match Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, because Braun Breaker's still learning too. That's why WWE has specifically had him fight certain people that can carry him through matches. But, all right, so you said Drew McIntyre is your winner?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the winner too. I think LA Knight needs it more though.
Real quick,
All right.
can I
Yep.
correct something I said earlier? I
Sure.
meant to say Knight, McIntyre, Orton are all that matter. It's almost like that triple or that fatal 4-way match they had with Roman. It's almost the same thing again. I think I said KO on accident. KO, Lashley, Paul should not be in this match. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. All right then. All right. So before we're gonna end it, we're gonna do the segments called hot tags. We do quick, very quick. We're talking like 10, 15 seconds on this. Number one, what brand does Jade Cargill sign, and what would be best for her success?
SmackDown.
Yeah.
SmackDown.
SmackDown. She's the only one that can compete. If you put her on Raw, I mean, okay. I don't think anybody wants to see her destroy the Raw roster. I mean, you could. Then you have two monsters on each show. Then you're going to unify the titles maybe against each other. I don't know. SmackDown is the smarter move right now, though, for sure.
Okay, I agree. I think SmackDown would be her best way to succeed. All right, next, the Authors of Pain have returned after dominating the NXT. They were fired, then they dominated the indie scene, and Triple H brought them back. They are now part of the Final Testament faction. They've had their first tag match. What are your initial thoughts, and what's their outlook? Angel, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I really enjoyed them. Their tag team chemistry looked, I don't know. This is really the first time I've really seen them myself. I don't know if I've caught them before SmackDown before. I might have, but I can't remember. But their in-ring gear, yeah, it's not super original, but I enjoy it. Me and Mark are kind of somewhere in this way. We like factions that are together. You can tell they're together. You can see them. They perform really well in the ring. I'm excited to see what they bring.
Tag team moveset,
Yeah.
Even something simple as
finishers,
attire, music,
right?
Stuff like that.
They bring all of that. I like them a lot so far. We'll see.
Yeah. Gonzo, thoughts? AOP?
Everything Angel said. As far as just working unison, they actually have a tag team name, unlike here's single person with name, here's second person with name, two totally different ring attire. So it's just good to see an actual tag team. And I like their look.
Why the Mud Dogs shouldn't won the NXT titles, but whatever. All right, lastly, as we said earlier, WWE 2K has released a couple of their ratings. Wow. Let's get into it real quick. Logan Paul has a 90 overall rating. Rhea Ripley is the number one female, 96 overall. Kevin Owens has an 86 overall. Why Logan Paul's ahead of him is beyond me. Dominic Mysterio, 83 overall. The Miz, 81 overall. Absolutely ridiculous.
That's terrible.
And Zelina Vega, 74 overall.
Dominic Mysterio needs to be rated 50. He's garbage.
What?
Trash.
Whoa. He should be in the chamber match.
No, he shouldn't. That dude can't wrestle. Can't wrestle.
Dude, AJ should be in the chamber match. He should be in the... Come on, stop, dude.
No. I'm sorry.
What?
Dominic Mysterio cannot wrestle. It's miserable.
His 619 he did was trash.
You said 15 seconds or less, so that's my 15-second take.
God.
Well, I'm
not going to bring this back next week because I can't
deal with that. That is wow. All right.
Yeah.
Go back and look at his 619 because he literally.
I just said that.
15 seconds.
I said a 619 sucked, but that doesn't mean like your.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you mad because he botched something? But your boy Logan Paul gets a 90 overall and he doesn't even hit a standing moonsault?
Yeah.
15 seconds or less, gentlemen. We could save this for next episode.
Oh, we will. I'm about to put that as a whole segment of Bash David. All right. Last thing, we'll do this real quick since we got a new viewer here. Do you guys think we should go back to WrestleMania being one night, or do you like to split in two?
Me personally, I've changed my mind on this. I used to think one night was better. You get more people's eyes on it, stuff like that. But nowadays, I mean, all the internet and social buzz, you want to go in the whole time. I think it is cool for the fans to get to go there. We had a lot of fun when we just went to SummerSlam. If we were able to go to WrestleMania a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, sounds really cool. It's like almost like the All-Star Weekend vibes that you get from the other sport, or at least the NBA and the MLB. But I like the 2 days. You get to showcase a lot more stars. I feel like you got a lot of belts now, right? You got 2 shows, 2 belts pretty much for every show going on. So right now, the way it's set up, you need 2 nights. If we go back to 1 set of belts for every champ, then we could talk about going back to a one-time show. But right now, it's 2, and I don't mind it.
I agree. Gonzo, 1 or 2 nights WrestleMania.
It's a good business model.
For
As
sure.
far as 2 nights, I'm a little bit old school. I like the 1 just because of the added relevancy to it. But then again, it's swaying me with the entire weekend. They're treating it just like All-Star Weekend for the NBA, for the MLB, for the NFL. They're making a spectacle
NFL's
of it.
trash.
And ultimately, the way that they do all those things, it
Try and say it.
allows it allows people to do more than just the one thing, and to make it more of a lasting memory. I like the 2 nights. It's more than just wrestling because it's all about entertainment, right? Building memories.
Me too. I like the 2. All right. With that being said, we are now at the end of our show. Before we go, Gonzo, where can we find you on social media and what you got going on?
Yeah, as far as social media, you're going to find me on X. You're going to find me on, oh, wow, I had a brain fart. Sorry. As far as too many social media platforms, YouTube, you got X, you got Instagram, you got TikTok. Those are going to be the main ones. And so as far as the channels and streaming go, a lot of it's going to be TikTok, Instagram, doing some short reels, just again, talking other things other than wrestling. In my day-to-day, I'm a licensed therapist in the state of Illinois. So each day I'm helping people with behavioral health and then also addiction complications. So that content is going to be something beyond wrestling, right? It's going to be for the overall person.
Cool. AOK Gaming, Angel.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on other social media too, but those are probably my biggest 3. If you want to watch any type of gaming, team gaming, sports gaming, play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, 2K, FIFA, or FC now. Other Helldivers, you'll catch me playing that as well every night at @A_OK Gaming. You'll find me on all those social medias at that tag, and maybe you'll catch me in Pro Wrestling Kingpin run some 2K24.
Oh, we will.
Finish our stories.
Pre-order. It will. 100%. You have a streaming schedule or no?
You can find me most weeknights for sure. Almost every weeknight, Monday through Thursday especially. And then when I can get it in there, I'll run some bonus streams on the weekends when I'm actually home. But mostly the weeknights after like 8 p.m. Eastern time, you'll catch me.
Will we catch a 2K stream tonight?
Ooh, a 2K stream. I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll
See what's
find out.
going on.
All right. All right. So you guys know where to find them. You got Raising_personalities on all social media except X. It is basically what you see there. David_MA_LCPC. For AOK Gaming, all social media, A_OK Gaming on all social media, especially if you like the video game streams. And myself, I do have another show called Bad Booking. Hopefully we return next week. I also have been a guest star last week on the Jelly Cards podcast, where it's a sports card podcast you can find on Apple and Spotify. Last episode talked about the wrestling card market. This week I'll be guest starring on it again, so be sure to check that out, where we further break down what's hot and what's not. Angel, did you have one thing else to say? You want to mute yourself?
Yeah. Are we gonna do a live stream at 3 a.m. together, us 3, watching Elimination Chamber with all?
If you guys want to do a live stream together when we're all up, I'm 100% down, and I'll make sure that we'll screen these messages of anyone that gives us a spoiler. I'll be down for that. What do you guys think? Would you guys be down to do it in the morning?
I'd be down to do it for sure. I don't know about Elimination Chamber. That was more of a joke, just because how ridiculous the time is.
All right, so we will have
that we could try that one day in the future for
maybe for WrestleMania. But next week you could join us. We will break down the Elimination Chamber. That will be the main episode. So next week, but usually every Saturdays. Today was a special day. Next week we'll probably have to do it on Sunday as well. We got a lot of things going on. So next Sunday, around the same time, hopefully we'll give you for sure on our social medias. But join us usually weekly Saturdays, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Smack Talk. So we thank you guys for staying with us, and catch you next time.
Thanks again.